Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you on the program, This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Talking about the new book, The Dark Side of Life by Edna Hunt, a very honest, relatable story of her childhood, her fears, her struggles, her successes. Edna Hunt with us on This Week in America. Edna, welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
I enjoyed reading the book, and I mentioned relatable, and that's something I'm sure as you set out to write the book, you wanted this to be something that people could relate to. What kind of comments are you getting from the stories in the book, and people finding that yeah, she went through a lot, and I did too, and she was able to survive that?
Yes, I have. I've had a lot of people ask me how I did it. I said, you just have to make your own choices. You can either go down with it or rise up.
Well, and you did rise a number of times during the course of the book. And let's start with the basics. Why did you decide to write this book? When did you figure that, okay, I'm going to sit down and I've got these experiences I want to talk about because I could probably help other people? When did you decide to begin the process?
Um, let's see, June the 22nd, my sister passed away, and I wanted to do a tribute to her, and my mother has always also passed away, and my friends, and I said, I have glaucoma, and I wanted to be able to do this while I can still see good, and my hands are giving me trouble, so I said, I want to do this, and maybe it'll help somebody else.
How difficult was it to begin the process? And were there moments when you thought, boy, I really can't do this? I'm sure it was difficult to go back and take a hard look at all of the hardships, the obstacles that you had in your life, and then to write about them. What was that process like? Was it difficult?
Well, I'll tell you, I got up every morning on Saturdays at 3 o'clock in the morning when I could think and nobody moving around. And I got to thinking about everything. And as soon as I thought about it, I would write it down. I said, this happened then, and so forth. I just wanted the world to know that they're not alone. There's other people out there that's done that and came up above it. And it makes you feel better psychologically just to talk about it
Well,
and to write about it.
yeah, and then the fact that you were able to survive through all of these experiences. Let's go back to January 15th, 1958. You were born in Cedartown, Georgia. Let's talk a little bit about the family. You write extensively about your mother and your father. Your mother with a great deal of love and admiration. Father was difficult to live with, wasn't he? He was, in fact, I think you called him sort of the devil personified.
Yes, yes, he was. Yes, I hated him. I mean, actually, because he had done so much to all of us. I mean, I was so glad when he died. It was just like freedom for us. You know, we weren't bad kids, but we didn't need all that because we were afraid. We were afraid to even talk to anybody.
Yeah, and
So,
they were
yes, he
times.
was a devil.
Yeah, we're talking about the book, The Dark Side of Life by Edna Hunt, our guest on This Week in America. It was a time when you were afraid to stay in the house. I think it was shortly after you had moved, where you and the siblings would basically go into the woods and spend evenings there as well.
Yes, rain, snow, sleet, cold, summer, it didn't matter because we were that afraid. And he would shoot at us, and he would threaten to burn the house down, and just everything. I mean, he didn't care for killing anybody, so
What was it like
I'm
for
sure
your
he did.
Yeah, and what was it like for your mother to go through this? She was trying to hold the family together, but and finally she had a breaking point with this as well. But what was it like for her to go through this?
Oh, she was so depressed she just wanted to kill herself. I mean, she just she just couldn't handle it. I mean, and he'd tell her that she was too sorry to die, and she was ugly, and it was psychological abuse along with the physical abuse. And I got that from my mother. I will not take that off of anybody.
Well,
So
it's interesting in the book as you were getting your first job and you opened a checking account, which you said you still have to this day. You really wanted to make sure that you could survive on your own. That you didn't want to be in that a similar situation where you were depending on a man.
right, that's right. And I didn't. I did not depend on a man.
So that was a situation where you not only came through it, but you were able to thrive in getting through that situation. The childhood years, and you talk about, and we'll mention the siblings here in just a second, but there was a time when there was so much turmoil in the family that what the neighbors actually thought that kids should be in a foster home somewhere.
Yes, and my mother fought for us, and she just couldn't believe it. She said, she fought the neighbor. She said, well, I'm trying to do the best I can. I work second shift, and my oldest daughter is taking care of the kids. I'm doing the best I can. I'm the only one working. So we almost got there, but we didn't.
Yeah, the book is The Dark Side of Life by Edna Hunt. We're talking about the childhood and what she went through. Talk about brothers and sisters, because you had a family that went through similar experiences to obviously to what you were going through.
Yes, yes. They, my sister, she passed away in June. She decided to drink, so she died of cirrhosis of the liver, and so did my dad. And my youngest brother, he drank too. So, but the other two, they don't, and I don't. So we chose our own life, to make it stable for our children.
Yes. You had a situation, you're 10 years old, and the cousin would come by the house on his bicycle, and you were molested. Talk about how you handled that, and you felt that I have to handle this on my own because I can't go tell anybody because they won't believe me.
Right, because my mother, she loved him, because he is always over there all the time. And I thought to myself, just leave me alone, just get away from me. And I went in the house, I went to the bedroom, and I started crying. And I said, I will get over this. No man is ever going to touch me. And I don't trust people. I really don't trust people at all. They can talk, but I don't listen.
Yeah, so to this day, you still have that reticence in listening to somebody and thoroughly trusting them.
Right.
Edna
It
Hunt,
affects you the rest of your life.
yes, Edna Hunt, our guest, talking about her childhood, what she went through. The book is called The Dark Side of Life. It's a very honest and inspirational account of her childhood. Let's talk about when you go off to school and you talk about some of the problems that you had. Sports was an outlet, but you felt like you were a loner and you went through bullying situations.
Yes, I did. And it was awful. And I just went to myself. I said, I can please myself. I don't have to please these other people. I am my own person. I don't have to be in a crowd. I don't have to hang out with the besties. And I didn't. It's just something that went through my mind. I mean, I could see that, and I'm still like that. It's just something that you look at somebody and you hear them talking about somebody, I'm going to back off. Because if you're talking about somebody else, you're talking about me. So I backed off.
And you had the problem at the time with the family situation with your dad. You really couldn't you didn't feel comfortable inviting people to the house, so you rarely had people at that point in time that would come over and be friends and come to your house.
Yes, after he passed away, yes.
During this period,
yes, that's the only.
Yeah, and talk about the funeral. Died a few months after an altercation with your mother. He's in the hospital and finds out he's got cirrhosis of the liver, and he dies shortly after that. And that was a situation of tension as well over money for the funeral and how you were going to go about that. difficult to get through as well, wasn't it?
Yes, because it was my mother. She wasn't working, and we'd never lived off of food stamps, and we had to wait for assistance from the government to get money. And me and my sister, we just took on jobs to make ends meet, and it helped us in the long run as far as our work goes.
One thing
We both learned.
yeah, and you talk about in the book, and I really have great admiration for your mother in reading the book. You really felt that if it was not for your mother, you probably wouldn't have survived. You had a lot of very, as we can tell in your description of the program, and certainly in reading the book, The Dark Side of Life, a lot of really harrowing situations with your father. Your mom was responsible for basically keeping the kids alive.
Yes, yes, she was. Because she would take us to her sister's house or anywhere she could get away to protect us as well as herself. But he would always find us and bring her back. And in a way, I think she loved him, but I don't know how she could have took that abuse, love or not. I couldn't have, and I won't.
You had a difficult time in high school, and let's set up the time of that. I think it's the summer of 1975, and you've got a couple of friends, and tragedy struck them, and it really changed your life at that point. Talk about what that happened and what that did to the last year of high school for you.
Oh, well, when Danny and Chip got killed, and my brother, he had amnesia, so he still don't know to this day what happened. But my friends were gone, and it just tore me up because we spent the whole summer together. And I was so depressed. I just barely made it through high school. I would leave every chance I got. I didn't care about being in school. I left, and when I first started to work, it was the same way. I just had to, the more I stayed busy, the better it got, because Danny's father had told me that if you work real hard during the day, you won't have to worry because you'll go to sleep easier at night. Just work as hard as you can. And that's what I did.
And did that successfully, married now to sons, grandchildren. What's the book meant to them to understand the story of what Mom and my grandmother went through? What's the impact on the family?
They couldn't believe it because they didn't read it until after it came out. And my youngest son, he sat down and cried. And my oldest son, he won't read it. But he said that he didn't think he could read it. But right now, I can sit down and talk about it, which I couldn't at the time because I was afraid to talk to anybody about anything. But
yet there are so many people. So many people go through obstacles and deal with situations, and I'm sure you're finding that now, and will find that out. Find it as people are reading the book. The book is The Dark Side of Life. Edna Hunt is our guest on the program, the author. The book's available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. You can find out information on the book by going to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and touching so many people. And I think you mentioned before, this actually was sort of a therapeutic experience for you in going back and putting that down on paper. Was that sort of maybe a closure to that part of your life and being able to address it, use it in a positive way to help other people and to move on from there?
yes, definitely. Definitely. I always wanted to be a writer or a announcer, but I decided to go with the writing because as I think about it, I would write it down, and that's helped me a lot.
Well, it's helping other people, and you really did an excellent job. After you get the first book out of the way, and you're holding the book that's got your picture on the on the back cover, and it's your story, your name on the cover. Are you going to do any more writing? Would you like to do another book?
Yes, I'm in the process now.
Ah, can you tell us what it's about?
Yeah, it's another section of my life after going to work and the other things that I did during my life. It's kind of like an autobiography because I remember things and did like I did this last book, just write it down as I think of it.
Well, I will look forward to reading that. The original book, the first book we're talking about on the program today, The Dark Side of Life by Edna Hunt, a very honest, relatable story of what she went through during her childhood or early teen years. And the book's available at Amazon, at Barnes and Noble. I think the book is going to be very powerful and help a lot of people. Obviously, you're hearing that feedback from people that have already had a chance to read it. Edna, thank you so much for your courage in writing the book, being with us on the program. I really enjoyed having you with us on the program, having a chance to read The Dark Side of Life. Thank you very much, and we'll stay in touch and would love to do the follow-up as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's called The
Yep.
Dark Side of Life by Edna Hunt. The book's available at Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. Information, of course, at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. We're back right after these messages. Don't go away.